Alright, so what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, man. It's your boy. And piggybacking off the video I did yesterday where I was talking to you guys about dimension missions and the best characters for you to work on if you are a beginner. For today's video, we're actually going to be talking about character development once again, because that is a very important thing if you are a new player coming into this game. Marvel Future Fight is a very big game in terms of how many characters you have at your disposal, over 200 at this point, and coming in, it can be very overwhelming trying to decide which characters you should work on early on to make as much progress as possible. The good thing is, even though there's over 200 characters in the game, you only need about 30 or 40 of these characters. So the faster you get to the destination of having 30 or 40 powerful characters, the sooner you can start building characters that you just want to build simply because they seem appealing or you just have some love for them from a comic book perspective. And once again, today we're going to be taking a look at some characters that can help you get to that position in the game as quickly as possible. Because if you are not taking advantage of this tool that you have at your disposal as early as possible, basically what you're doing is ensuring that you are forever behind the people who have been playing this game longer than you. And honestly, the later you start this, the further behind you're going to be, even when it comes to people who start the game after you. If they come in and they start doing this before you, trust me when I say you're going to be playing catch up. So what I'm talking about today is actually one of the most, if not the most important game mode in the game for a new player, and that is Shadowland. The reason why this is so valuable is because for floors 5, 10, and 15, they give you access to biometric selectors. And what this does is it opens up a whole new world of possibilities. It gives you access to over 100 different characters that you can build that you would otherwise not have access to unless you were spending money to buy biometric selectors from the shop, or if there was an event going on giving out biometric selectors. So the sooner you can get to floor 15 in Shadowland, the bigger your roster will be and the more progress you will be making. So in addition to completing your dailies every single day and making your way through World Boss, Beginner, and Normal, Shadowland should be where you spend the bulk of your time. If there's one thing you can do in the game every single day, right, as a new player, I would say prioritize Shadowland, because it will funnel into everything else. It will make it so that World Boss Beginner becomes a joke to you faster, and it will just get you to a way better place when it comes to ABX and PvP in this game. So we're going to be talking about, I would say, 10 or so characters that ideally you want to prioritize from your first set of biometric selectors in this game. Now, we are not going to be talking about characters that you can get from the shop right here, even though I guess double dipping and getting characters from here and using your selector on them will get them to tier 2 faster. For me, I think that's not the way to go, because there's certain characters that are just not in here, and the sooner you get access to them, the more your progress will skyrocket. So for me, any character that is in the shop should not be a character that you use your biometric selectors on. If you're a new player, and as a new player, you're, in my opinion, supposed to be, like in quotes, supposed to be free to play. Again, I'm gonna say it, right? Coming into a new game, even if you love Marvel, do not spend any money until you understand how the game works and find some enjoyment in this game, right? So much so that you say, you know what, I can see myself spending some money here because I'm gonna be here for at least 6 or so months. Okay, that being said, boys and girls, let's get right to it. I'm gonna give you guys a list of characters that you should work on if you want to make as much progress as possible in this massive game. Because as you can see right here, we have over 210 characters in the game. There's a lot, and there is more to come, right? The Future Fight team, they love bringing in new characters, and this could be overwhelming for a lot of new players. The characters that you see have a star beside them. They're among the first characters that you should spend your biometric selectors on. They are very useful for all of the PvE content, and when it comes to PvP, a couple of them can hang in the lower brackets, but that's where you're going to be in the end game, if you will, and you're going to need some heavy hitters later on. I will touch on that in a future video. Now, Even though I really wanted to make this a top 10 characters that you should work on with your Shadowland selectors, there was just so many that I wanted to put in this video to give you guys some variety. Because if you guys have been watching the channel, well, if you're new, you probably haven't been watching the channel, but the people who watch this channel, they know I like variety. I think variety is the spice of life, and I want to give you guys options, right? Now, right here, Sharon Rogers is a character that you're going to get from the Shield Academy. I would highly recommend that you get that done ASAP. And if my memory suits me correctly, they give you enough biometrics for her to actually get her to tier 2. If that is not the case and they only give you enough to get her to 6 stars, you want to use your first set of biometric selectors from Shadowland and any you get from logins or anything else at all to get this girl up to tier 2 as quickly as possible. ASAP. She will carry you through absolutely everything in PvE, and honestly, as a new player, you're gonna probably be in like the lowest bracket in timeline battle, so she could win there, especially if you pick up this uniform. But we'll talk about uniforms that you should pick up if you are a new player in a future video if you guys want to see that. So Sharon Rogers, not necessarily one that you should use your biometric selector on if they give you enough pieces from the Shield Academy. Another one that I absolutely have to put on here, even though I know they give you 630 biometrics for her, is actually Shadow Shell. She's an amazing character and she's universal, so she's useful for a whole heap of different things. So Shadow Shell has to be on this list for me. She's an amazing character, high DPS, her survivability gets dicey in future endgame content, but once you get to where she's gonna struggle, you're gonna have better characters if you have actually been improving your roster as you should from playing the game. So Shadow Shell definitely deserves to be here. And then we're gonna start with Gorilla Man. Gorilla Man is a very, very tanky character, not very popular. However, he is very, very good. Lots of HP, has iframe, invincibility, healing, everything you need as a new player to make a lot of mistakes, right? Especially when your comic cards are not very good, your build on the characters are not very good. He is a character, and all of the characters on this list, they will do good enough to get the job done with a suboptimal setup, and that's why I put them here. Then we have War Tiger. Some of you guys may be surprised to see him here, but I think he's a very, very, very good and very free-to-play friendly, new player friendly character. He has healing, he has iframe, he has crowd control, which is good for where many of you new players should be spending the majority of your time, and that is inside Shadowland. Okay, so definitely would highly recommend you guys pick him up early on. Then we have Human Torch, a character that will be useful to you even when you get to the end game of Marvel Future Fight. Very, very good character with healing, iframe, immunity, and a really high damage. I tried to pick characters that were not only strong but safe as well, because as a new player, you're still learning the mechanics and how to fight in this game. So having characters with great survivability and good damage is what you ideally want to focus on, even if they're not your favorite characters, because as a new player, you may actually end up building some of the worst characters in the game if you're acting off emotion and not off strategy. Okay, next up is Minerva, a very easy character to play even without a uniform. However, with her uniform, she becomes better. I also tried to focus on characters that didn't necessarily need a uniform to be very good. Minerva is one of those characters. And then we have Molten Man, a character that if you're new to the game, you may not know about him if you didn't watch Spider-Man Far From Home. However, he is very, very powerful, and even in the later stages of this game, he's still going to be useful to you. So the sooner you build him, the better off you will be. And since he's a super villain, he can cover additional stages inside Shadowland. He can also cover ABX for you. So if you make it to ABX, he's gonna do work there. Then we have Titania. Really good leadership, a character with immunity and healing along with iframe. Again, a very new player, free-to-play friendly character that I highly recommend to all of you. All right, then we have Shuri. Shuri is definitely one of the best speed characters in the game. You're going to notice this list is lacking in speed characters, and she definitely deserves to be here. Even without her uniform, she is very, very, very good. She's a good tier 2 passive, which will help you get through War Boss Ultimate. But as a standalone character, she can get the job done basically every single time. And if you pick up the uniform, she becomes even safer and even more new player friendly. Then we have Dr. Voodoo. Now, Dr. Voodoo's value outside of Shadowland. Okay, in Shadowland as a new player, he's gonna do work for you. He's gonna kill basically everything if you know how to play him, right? He's super safe and he has good damage, and his heal will work in Shadowland. So again, another character here that is good offensively, good defensively, and has heal. Then we have his leadership. This is where many endgame veterans find his value, because he can buff characters like Deadpool and make their defense down even stronger. So once you outgrow his usefulness in terms of what he can do for you in like War Boss and stuff, you'll find new value for him in his leadership. So definitely have to put him here. And then we have Iron Hammer. Definitely a very good new player friendly character, one that has good damage, good survivability in the form of damage immunity, healing, and iframes. Also has defense down, which will make your fight a little bit easier. Then we have Medusa, a character that has a good leadership, because you might need a couple of those early on. Then we have good survivability and damage immunity. Super easy to play her, and you do not need a uniform. I have the uniform for her because it is definitely worth having. It makes her a bit better. So if you love her, you can definitely do that. However, if you don't want to buy a uniform for her, you can work on some of the other options that I have here who do not have a uniform. Then we have Morgan Le Fay, definitely one of the most new player friendly characters. She is super easy to use. She has healing, she has revive, she has defense down, she has summons that can take some heat off of you, right? Super, super, super cool character. I wish she had more damage for end game content once you became a veteran in this game. She also has mind control. Like, she has basically everything you need in a great character, right? And as a new player, you couldn't ask for more. I think she's definitely among the first that you should build. But ladies and gentlemen, this is my list of the, I guess, 10 or so, right, characters that you should spend your first like few weeks of Shadowland selectors on. Hope this video was helpful. If it was, hit me in the comments and let me know what else you'd like to see in terms of new player guides and tips for early progress in Marvel Future Fight. Till next time, stay safe. I love you guys, and I will catch you in the next one. If I missed anyone that you guys think deserves to be here, hit me up and maybe we could give them a shout out in the next video. But I think this is a good handful of characters that gives variety, and it also gives an easy to use, low skill level required set for new players to get familiarized with the game and how it works.